So let's talk a little bit about what is a brand. We'll talk about, I wanted to at least share with you some of the key ideas in marketing so you could say, well, what is marketing? What's it really all about? So this is the audience participation now. If you thought of a brand, closed your eyes for 2 seconds and thought of a brand in your life, and maybe a word or words that come to mind when you think of that brand, and then just shout it out and what those words are. Just think of a brand in your life. Princeton is obviously a brand. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Princeton is obviously a brand. So don't make me cold call on anybody so you don't have your name cards. Yes, sir, go ahead. Good for you. So Mike, and what word comes to mind when you say Nike?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, Michael Jordan. All right. So I mean, it's yeah. Sometimes people say, just do it. Or so if you again, you can probably see that swoosh. You can see Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, whatever. So Nike is an incredible brand. Okay, and there's a whole story that goes with it. You probably all know. I mean, how it started. Did anybody know how it started? Or so it's a track coach in the '60s. Now, I know none of you know what the '60s were, but there weren't always running shoes. I mean, people used to run in what were called Converse All-Stars. You know what Converse All-Stars are? So big, flat gym shoes, really. And people would. I mean, I knew a friend in when I went to secondary school. He ran the Boston Marathon and was crippled. Couldn't walk for 2 weeks after running the Boston Marathon because he ran in these flat-soled shoes. So then a guy named Phil Knight and Bob Bowerman, who's the coach at I think Oregon, literally made soles on these shoes out of a waffle iron. Probably not someplace you'd want to go for breakfast the next day. But so they even to these days have that sort of waffle iron pattern. And that was sort of the start. So that's the start of Nike. And then maybe now not even great running shoes, but they are a brand. You can have that image. And it's one of the few commercials you can see when you see their advertising where you don't even have to see the brand name. You know, oh, that's Nike.